What's up guys, NepentheZ here and welcome back to another episode of The Road to Glory. The screen right now is showing my team that I'm going into some more Division 1 games with. I went and bought Rafa Varane, not only because Pepe is injured, but also I wasn't enjoying Pepe much. Varane is super cheap, I bought him for 4.7k with a shadow card already on him. And Pepe is like 18,000 coins. So I just thought, you know what, let me make that money, let me make that profit. I was considering bronze benching, right? As you guys know, I don't agree with or believe in bronze benching. I don't think it's successful. I think it's all in people's head. But one thing that I've noticed is, and this is nothing to do with skill, this is literally just to do with team rating, and we're going to talk about it a little bit more later on in the video as well, actually. But I haven't got my lights on. Forgot to turn the light on here. Let me no, I'll just leave it off for this episode. We'll have no lights for this episode. I've started a series on my main account where I'm doing a Road to Glory essentially. However, it's only going to be regarding FUT champs and it's only for packs. Like literally, I'm only going to be opening packs, and I will only be opening those packs with coins that I earned through the game or rewards that I earned through the game. I'll be spending no money on FIFA points. I won't be able to buy any items off the transfer market, and I just wanted to give myself something a little bit more, I guess, challenging, because whilst I love this account, this is my main account, and this series won't affect the Road to Glory in any way, shape or form. In fact, it will play second fiddle to the Road to Glory. I'll explain in a second. Whilst this is my main series, I do enjoy just playing FIFA, you know, and there's only so much FIFA I can play on this account before it gets to a point where I've got too much footage for what I can actually show on YouTube. So to kind of quell that issue, I started the new account. As I explained in that new account, guys, I will play FUT champs on it if and when I qualify, but I will only play FUT champs on it when I'm done with my Road to Glory FUT champs. So usually I've split my games up 15, 15 and 10, or 10, 15, basically 10 or 15 games at one point throughout the 3 days. So if I play my 15 games on the main account on Friday and I'm done and I've got a few hours left to spare, I'll then go on to the new account and play Road to Glory in there. So I very much doubt I'll get all 80 games in. I don't actually plan to play all 80 games. I only plan to play like potentially an extra 10 to 20 games a weekend. So I just don't want it to affect this series at all. But one of the things I noticed was that when I went into the knockout tournament on that new account, the players that I had, I didn't have 100 chemistry obviously, because I've got, it's just a brand new account and it's pack only, and I've got no coins to buy packs with, so I'm having to use what I had available to me. So I've got no chemistry and I've got low rating. And in all the games that I played, I came up against low-rated, low-chemistry teams. So it got me to thinking that whilst low chem and low rating does not have any correlation to skill whatsoever, although chemistry potentially would, because chemistry would indicate that they don't understand the game, so, you know, would potentially be a worse player. What it made me think was, I wonder if EA prioritize team rating and chemistry as a search function when matchmaking above skill rating, wins, elo points and things like that. So my aim was to put bronze players on the bench to bring my rating down on this team to see if I came up against lower rated teams. I ended up completely forgetting about it. I think by this game here, I'd already put the bronzes back into the club and put golds back on the team, because I forgot why I put the bronzes on. I put the bronzes on for the purpose of the video, and then I didn't play for like a couple of hours. When I came back, I was like, why did I put the bronzes on again? I can't remember, and I took them straight back off. So I might test that theory in the next video, and I'll play a couple of knockout games with like a 188, 189 team, and then maybe a couple of knockout games with like a 90 chem 77 rated team or something, and just see if the disparity between the teams that we come up against is so huge so early on. Because if it is, there could be something to bronze benching, but for different reasons than people bronze bench. Like, people bronze bench initially because they believe handicap is a thing. They believe that it reduces their team rating, which therefore reduces EA saying, oh, you've got a high rated team and he's got a low rated team, let's balance things. That's why people bronze bench. But I think there could be something into lowering your team rating for simply coming up against lower rated teams. and I don't think there's much more to it than that personally. But let me know your thoughts on it. In fact, test it with me. You know, if you're a pretty competent player, you get into gold or elite in Foot Champs all the time, and you've got a really good team like a 185, 186, go and play a couple of the daily knockout tournaments with your, you know, the highest rated team you can get. Maybe play 4 games, mark down what style of opponents you come up against, their team rating and their chemistry, and then switch it up and go and play with like a low-rated, low-chem team. And when I say low-chem, I mean like 80, 85, 90. Still like decent enough that you can actually play the game. And see what kind of people you come up against. Because if enough of us do it and we actually get some kind of data on record, we could really show that there is a reason, there is a thing when bronze benching, but it's not necessarily the thing that people think that it may be. So there is that. So that being said, guys, I'm in Division 1 right now. We had drawn and lost our first games in Division 1. So for me to win the title, I was required to go on an 8-game Division 1 winning streak, or a 7-win, 1-draw streak somewhere in there. As you can see, we are up to 6-1-1 now. So we went from 0-1-1 to 6-1-1. So I just need 1 win and 1 draw in my final 2 games, and the Division 1 title will finally be ours. It's been a long time coming, and as you guys know by the title of the video, I indeed did win the D1 title. We end up winning 8 in a row. I won it 8-1-1. If you follow me on social media, I quite often post spoilers on social media for Road to Glory. So if you don't like spoilers, I do suggest that specifically late at night, because that's when I play most of my FIFA, you don't like watch my timeline, because I post things like goal records. Like I posted the fact that I won Division 1 on Twitter yesterday. So yeah, if you want to keep up to date with it and a little bit more detailed in terms of player stats and teams used and stuff like that, then go ahead and follow me on Twitter. But if you don't want to know, if you don't want it spoiled for you, just remember that I've warned you that the Twitter account is where it gets ruined. Anyways, lots of comments picked again. I always overpick comments, so again, I do appreciate those of you that put your comments into the chat. Obviously, there's typically 1,000 or more comments per video, and I can only really get through like 5 to 15 a video. But if you've got something important you feel like you want to say and share, be sure to keep putting it in the comment. Oh, got a hair in my mouth. Yeah, be sure to keep putting it into the into the video, and hopefully eventually I'll see it. And I appreciate all the support you guys give. You know, I'm very, very grateful for what you allow me to do as a job in life. So thank you for that again. Big Om says, Nep, I know you said team doesn't matter as much as we think it does, but do you think EA should change the matchmaking system for Foot Champs so you get matched up against similar team rating? Also, they can change the way team ratings work and disable the ability to change team rating by the players on the bench. This can prevent players with incredible teams from bronze benching and making their team a lower rating so they come up against worse teams. So for example, a full team of the year team would be, let's say, a 194 rated, and if you bronze bench, the rating won't change. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. I agree with the sentiment you're making. I don't agree with your kind of like theories though. I definitely think we should know more about what happens in matchmaking and how it's affected, because as I've just explained, like, if you put a lower rated team in and that is something that's impactful, people will manipulate that to their favour. It shouldn't be based on team or team rating. It should be based on skill or just literally random luck. It should, like, ultimately, eventually, like, the primary goal would be a combination between ping, server connection and skill. You know, a lot of the other esports or a lot of esports in general seem to have that nailed on. You know, when you think League of Legends, they have a really, really strict elo rating, and the thing that's interesting is you can see what your elo is. You know, you can see exactly what you gain and lose per game. You can see how and when you gained it. You can see the factors that contribute to gaining or losing it, and it matches you against similarly skilled people. So when it matches you against a similarly skilled person, then it's like, okay, how's your internet? Like, you know, let's match you up now against something with ping. The difference with something like League of Legends is the champions and the game in general is relatively balanced. There are of course some anomalies here or there, but in FIFA it's incredibly unbalanced. You know, if we have the same skill rating and you have a bronze team and I have a 99 team of the year team, even though our skill level is going to be the same, I will have a huge advantage. Because again, whilst I believe team isn't everything, and this is again where people are going to take this out of context, I know they will. Team isn't everything, but it is still important in certain aspects, you know. So I think with what you've suggested, I think that would just cause more problems. I think it would just cause people to try and manipulate and game the system. You know, if you're saying a low-rated team will come up against low-rated teams, well, typically people with low-rated teams are people that don't play the game as much, which means they're generally not as good as those that are well-versed in the game. Or they haven't, you know, they don't have the time to spend on the game to be able to build a good team, which means they would traditionally not be as good as your, you know, your hardcore players. And that, again, there will be anomalies. There will be some of you out there that have low-rated teams just because you enjoy playing with those teams that are exceptional. There will be those players that are just exceptional at FIFA that are able to do things with low-rated teams. But if you start saying low-rateds will get matched up against low-rateds, what you'll start to see is people will literally just go and buy players like Rashford, Anthony Martial, like Renato Sanchez and N'Golo Kante. You'll see all the 80 and 81 rated players becoming the superstars of every team because people won't want to put in high rated players because it'll mean they'll come up against other high rated teams. And a high rated team would, again, it would suggest, but not always, but you know, there will be anomalies, but it would suggest somebody who's spent time and or money on the game, which would give an indication that they are better at the game. It's not an absolute science, obviously, but if you're talking about in FIFA trying to find the best way for you to win, right? And if there is an opportunity for you to play Hector Bellerin instead of a team of the year Dani Alves that gives you an advantage, you're going to take it. So I do agree. What I would agree with what you say, Big Ohms, is that I think we just need more information on how matchmaking works, what factors are introduced and when, and what our own skill rating is. Because it's crazy that you have to be in the top 100, be it region or worldwide, to know what your skill rating is. Why can't I know what my skill rating is just because I'm not in the top 100? I think that's crazy. I genuinely believe it's insane of EA to just say, you know, again, like they're stepping in the right direction of what they're doing, but I think they're doing it the wrong way. What they're saying again is if you're good, you get way more benefits than if you're bad at FIFA, and that for me that's not the right way to go about things. Jonathan Edge says, hey Nep, do you think Rooney will get an SBC due to him breaking the most goals for Man United record? If so, what would it require? I mean, I couldn't possibly tell you what it would require if he got one because EA likes to keep people on their toes with that. When people try and invest in things that they think will be requirements for things, EA always flip it and go completely different direction to make sure that people are basically unable to manipulate the market. It seems like, although he did break a league record, I believe, for the most away goals scored, the record for him breaking the goals for Man United most likely won't result in an SBC because EA don't do club records. They only do league or, I believe, nation records. So the fact that Rooney has broken a club record would suggest that he actually won't get an SBC. But we'll have to wait and see. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. In fact, this video won't be going live till 10, and at 6 PM today, there could be a Rooney SBC there. Who knows? But my gut instinct is saying that based on prior knowledge of what EA have and haven't done, there will be no Wayne Rooney SBC. Alexander Ruiz says, hey, why does informed Ben Yedder have better stats than Griezmann, but Griezmann is 5 ratings higher than Ben Yedder? Love the series. It's basically down to do with international reputation. There's like a hidden stat within each player that is considered international reputation, and it literally boosts their ratings by up to 5, I believe, like literally 1 star per rating. There's actually a formula and a calculator for exactly how it works. But that's why, and that's also a reason as to why some like 81 or 82 players perform as good as some 85 or 86 players is simply just because the 85 or 86 player has international reputation where the 81 or 82 doesn't. And I think the perfect example of that is Thomas Muller against Max Cruz. I believe it's Max Cruz. I think Max Cruz actually has better overall stats, more in-game stats, and in general better stats than Thomas Muller. But Thomas Muller is rated 6 ratings higher because of his international reputation, which again, it could be one of the important factors and theories behind people feeling and thinking that handicap and scripting and such exist. Oh my god, how does his player outperform my player when my player is rated so much higher? Well, it could just be that you have a player that has a high international reputation compared to the opponent that didn't. One of many factors that could be involved. You know, I'm not saying all of a sudden, okay, let's remove international reputation and all of a sudden handicap, the mentality behind handicap doesn't exist. But what I'm saying is it could be a contributing factor to why people think and feel the way they do in certain, certain instances. By the way, Ben Yedder, I don't think there's any reason you shouldn't use Ben Yedder over Griezmann. He's got 5-star, 4-star. He's cheaper. He's just great. Like, I don't know. Zach H says, in my opinion, FIFA shouldn't be in FIFA. Fitness shouldn't be in FIFA. And the next two comments as well are very similarly regarding. So Gaming Basher XZ says, who thinks fitness should regenerate over time? I think it could work. And Simon DeGator says, hey Nep, do you think EA should give at the end of each day every player of your active squad full fitness and -1 on injury if they have one? You could see as an end of day where every player can rest. I think all things fitness could be regarded. The only thing I'd say in terms of what EA will or won't do is they won't remove fitness from the game just because it's a pack filler. They like to remove things that are not important in this game. They would have to completely overhaul the way the packs work, and you've got to think from a business perspective. They've got to be worried to do that, because if they do that and it goes wrong, they'll lose potentially hundreds of millions of dollars. They are a huge company. EA are a huge company, not Ultimate Team, but EA are a huge company that are primarily a business. They want to make money. So to remove, say, fitness and contracts from the game would remove 50% of most packs from the game, which means what are they going to do to put in those packs instead, and how would that affect the game and how would that affect the market? But I do think that if you've got a player that's sitting in the reserves, like not in the team or the start or the bench or the reserves, but a player just sitting in the club, they should just regenerate fitness. Why not? I honestly actually think it would be a relatively difficult thing to code into the game, and could see problems and could be one of the reasons why it's not in the game. But yeah, I think all things for mediocre things that don't really affect the way the game is played. I think because fitness is more of an inconvenience than anything else. If EA are looking to get coins off the market, and I think that's what a lot of like contracts and fitness cards do, is just for reducing coins off the market, because it's a different, like, a player is a player that you buy, and then once that player has been packed, it's in the game forever unless somebody decides to put it in an SBC or to discard it. And if that's the case, then that's the case. But more often than not, players, once they've been packed, they're in the game forever. They have they have an impact on the game different to a contract or a fitness card or a position modifier or a chemistry style, because once you use that contract, it's gone forever. So in that sense, I think EA would need to put in more pack fillers that would be important to the game, but also relevant to the game, and that's the only way they'd get rid of like the fitness and stuff. But in the meantime, we just have to put up with it. Our voice isn't big enough to be heard, unfortunately. Ben Evans says, why does nobody ever question throw-ins on FIFA? It is very unrealistic that the majority of times with throw-ins, there are no defenders around your players. Sometimes if you're even attacking, I'm not being bitchy as I benefit from it. I feel like defenders at throw-ins act as if they do at kickoff very sluggish. And contrary as well, contrary to what you've said there are times where you've got a throw-in and you've got two dudes next to you and they are being marked by two guys and they make no attempt to offer you a place to throw the ball. And even if you manually select one of them and move them, the throw-in often goes to the wrong place. I think this is one of like many issues within the game. There are a lot of like minor things that pile up and contribute to being like huge issues. So I don't know. It's I agree with you, but it happens both ways, and as you said, it happens for both people. You benefit from it as many times as you suffer from it. And there are also occasions where you literally just can't throw the ball in because there's no one to throw it to. And in the same vein, there is situations where your opponent can't throw the ball because there's no one to throw it to, and you end up getting, you know, free possession. I ended up losing in the final there, guys, to a red card that I thought was pretty harsh. You know, I slid in with Varane. I missed the ball. By the time he got the ball and had shot, that's when the player ran over the legs of Varane. I got a red card and a penalty given against me. And I was going to struggle at that point on going in the game. So we ended up getting a 2-1 loss there, guys. Not the end of the world, but a little bit frustrating nonetheless. James Bullock says, hey, Nep, would you say playing someone like Diego Costa in midfield because of how strong he is would be better than playing him up front and then playing Rashford in at striker? Please keep up the amazing content. This literally comes down to play style. Some people really like the big, bulky strikers up front. Some people like the pacey, agile players up front. Me personally, I've got like a few specific things that I look for in midfielders, and height and strength is one of them. Work rates is important, defending capabilities is important, but the midfield that I've used now, like when I use like Costa in centre midfield, for example, I have like Chan or Modric, or, you know, I've had like Kante, Fernandinho to the side of him, who have really, really good work rates and defensive capabilities that don't leave me too exposed. So I think it depends on you and what you like. Some people like technical midfielders, some people like bulky midfielders, some people like tall, strong midfielders. Some people like the workhorses like Kante and Renato Sanchez. It really just does come down to personal preference, and that's why I play around with things so much. You know, I bought Costa, I tried him at striker, I didn't like him at striker. I tried him at centre midfield, I loved him at centre midfield. I thought he was one of the best centre midfielders I've used this year. I don't use him right now because of work rate issues. I've got Modric has the high attacking work rate in my midfield, which is why I'm using Chadley, because he's medium, and Chan, who is medium-high. And people say to me, why not use this player or that player? It's literally because it's what works for me. It's how the team balance is right for me. And then alternatively, I tried Ibrahimovic at centre midfield, medium-low work rates, feels like he should be good, and I just didn't enjoy him there. He was good but not great, so I tried him up front, and I've loved him up front. We put him up front, and we win Division 1 the first time he's in the team for D1, and we win it. So yeah, again, it just comes down to personal preference, dude. I personally believe that you should just try many things. Try things that people never tried before, because you don't know what works until you've tried it. Like a few years back in FIFA 15, when I started playing Gareth Bale in centre midfield, I got ridiculed for it. But he's actually a brilliant centre midfielder. He's got good skill moves, really well-rounded stats, very tall, very strong, high stamina levels, very fast, can shoot, can pass, has everything. And then lo and behold, what do you know? Lots of people started using Gareth Bale there. This year I started using informed Kyle Walker at left back, whereas everybody else was using Luke Shaw. As soon as I started using informed Kyle Walker at left back, everybody started using informed Kyle Walker at left back. I'm not saying I'm an advocate of out of position players. I know a lot of you guys do it already anyway. But just try things, dude. Try things to see what works for you. If you've got something in your team that you know doesn't work, try something out of the ordinary to see if it works. But anyway, guys, this is going to be the end of the video for today. As you can see, I'm starting to clear the club out a bit again. I want to get towards that Sergio Ramos, man. But thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to leave a like, rating, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. But for now, guys, I'm out. Peace.